Good afternoon, everybody. I want to give you an idea of what's coming for your coachings. And so I'm just going to walk through this, and hopefully you'll have this now, and hopefully you'll have this as something that you can do when you get your actual sheets. I want you to listen to this video, kind of remember all the information is here so we can use it effectively. So this is our Alexandria branch. It's the only one that I'm done with so far. It's a heck of a lot of work to get there, but I want you to see what you're going to have at your disposal. So here we have a summary of conversion for the branch. So we have the relocation on one side, and we have the lead router on the other side. If an agent's done just one or both, whatever business they've done, if they have a conversion rate, it's shown here. So for instance, Jesse Broadway has a 54% buyer conversion rate, obviously a very good person to sign buyers to. He has a 20% listing conversion rate, something you want to investigate, and a 39% overall. In terms of the lead router business, he took one lead router listing which did not convert. He's also worked with a renter which did not convert. So we have all of the business. If it's blank, that's because we don't have anything. We haven't gotten a result. If it's 0%, that means, hey, we have received business. We just haven't converted any. So as you're looking across, you have all of this information here, and then there is a summary down at the bottom which will show you what the branch has done in total. This will be different than the summary that I'm going to show you later, and the reason for that is this will only be agents that are currently in your branch and active within your branch. If the agent has either gone to another branch or is no longer with the company, they won't be in this information, but they will be in the other summary that we have. So where is all this information? So let's say with Jesse Broadway, we look and we say, okay, what's going on with Jesse's listings? So you can look across, and all of the agents are here, and they're in alphabetical order. So there's Jesse. Let's click on his sheet. Here's everything that Jesse has received. And let me use Jesse's to explain what we're looking at. So here we have color-coded in column B, the buyers, right? Here's his listings. Here's that one rental that I told you about, and here's the one lead router listing that I told you about. So this is color-coded that way. The date that he's received the referral is also color-coded. So the newer the referral, the darker it is, and that would be something that we'd obviously want to look at and say, okay, if it's brand new and it's still active, yes, that's a 20% conversion rate, but that's not necessarily the case. I'm not picking on Jesse, but in particular, in this case, Jesse's referrals are not all that new, and so we've got a bunch of listings that just haven't worked out. So it's a caution sign to say I'm not sure whether or not that is the right person for this business. If we expand out and look at the columns, there's other interesting information. For the buyers, you're going to see what was the price range that they were willing to spend up to. And so you get a sense of, what was the quality of the referral in terms of the price, and then where were these people looking. Of course, we have to know that information. So if we know that information, it's here. So these are the places that they were looking. Now, if we look across and continue to look at some of the information that's in here, you also then can see the name of the customer, so that you can obviously have that kind of conversation. You've got a column here for what type of business it was. So here's a corporate relocation. Here's the affinity business. Here's more corporate relocation. Here's something that our own company sent. This is awesome. NRT prefers to do business with us. I love that. And so on and so forth. So you can see where the business came from. Then you can see if there was a transaction on it, what was the date of that, and all the way down the line. So that's good information. That is taken, and that's looking at 6/26/2012 to 6/26/2013, all of the incoming business that came. Then for that agent, there'll be a solid black line. Down below that solid black line will be anything that agent settled in that same time frame. So all of these finals are 6/26 to 6/26. And you can see that's color-coded, that here's the finals and the pendings are lighter. If it was a list, it's in orange. If it was a buy, it's in blue. If it was an affinity-based referral where we were trying to get a survey return, that's been color-coded. And then obviously if we got a survey return, then that's there as well. So I have not summarized all of this, and I won't summarize all of this. I figure when you're doing your coaching, it's fairly easy to count and say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 2 returns, so we're a little less than about a 30% return rate. We need to improve the return rate a little bit, but when they return it, they say fantastic things, and that's wonderful. Then if we move across, we can also see when we're looking at this what the sales price was, who the mortgage was done with. So we see there were 7 affinity-based referrals. There are 1, 2, 3, 3 that went with a source. So let's see, was 2 of those. 1 of those was a listing. So we're 1 for 3 on honoring the source, 33%. We need to work on that. Here's the information that we have on what title company they used. Obviously, we've done a little bit better there. And then information on was a save the deal done, and the who the builder was if we were given that information. So we need to do a little bit more saving of the deal if we're Jesse, in terms of letting us know that, hey, this wasn't going to go with the source. Again, not picking on Jesse. He was random, and I just used him. So that's the information. All of your agents are here in alphabetical order. If they did any business, if they did 1 transaction with us, if they're not an A-team agent but they've done a lot of rentals for us, that information is going to be here. So all of that is here, and that's good for your coaching sessions with the agents. Before you do the coaching sessions, here's some information I think you're really going to like. This is a summary of all branches, and it's been broken down to areas. So Alexandria in general is going to be competing against the Gainesville, McLean, Centerville, and the new business model in terms of receiving a referral. So there's a summary for that area here in line 14. So you're really able to break down and say, hey, I don't want to really know about how I'm doing against, if I'm in Maryland, that's great that Centerville does whatever. Tell me what goes around in my area. So it's broken down, and here we have the conversion rate for buyers, conversion rate for sellers, conversion rate overall for the branch. We have the total sales volume that was done over a 1-year period, so that's anything that's final and anything pending. Here's the sales volume for those branches. In addition, the next column says, what were our missed opportunities? So in Alexandria, we have a total conversion rate of 40%. But you can see the area is 49, and the MBM model, which is in the same branch, is converting the business at 53%. So we're going to look at Alexandria and say, how many transactions would we have done had we converted at 53% with the best conversion rate for that area? So this would be, when we're looking at this information, it's going to use the conversion rate that was the best for the area, the offices that we're competing against. Had we done 317 transactions, we only did 242. Had we done 317, we'd have done 75 more transactions. The average sales price in this branch of the referrals given to those agents was $456,566. That's $34.5 million in sales that potentially we left on the table. Obviously, guys, I know that it's not exact, but I think we should value that there's a big chunk of information here and know what it is that we're targeting. So we're not only targeting that there's probably $35 million on the table, but it's probably the buyers that are being assigned to these agents where we left some things on the table. And then that can actually tell you how many dollars, had we done this, how many dollars would be in each place. So the branch would have made another $143,000. BizDev would have made another $86,000. The agents that we assigned that business to would have made $323,000 more. I think that's a great number to share with them as we're doing the coaching. They probably don't care as much about these 2 numbers as they care about this one, and that's okay. That's a good motivating number for everybody. Here's the outside fees that we'd have to pay, and Cardis probably cares on that. I only have it in here because it's the easiest way to get this information. What was the total net commissions available had we done those extra transactions? And then the net company dollar that was lost. So that's the combination of the branch dollar and the BizDev dollar. So potentially we have the opportunity with the same book of business to bring in another $230,000 in the IC branch of Alexandria. It's a big branch, so it's broken down for every office. It's done. If you were in DC, you notice I have 40% over here, so I just used a 40% number because we really don't know what the number is going to be or should be in DC. But we're I think all agreeing, and I know Tanya probably would put a bigger number there. So it's broken down for each area and done. And here's, notice at the top you have traditional relocation. If you come down, the next one is our e-commerce. So the lead router world. It's the exact same methodology. How are we doing with the buyers? How are we doing with the sellers? How are we doing overall? What's the total dollar volume that we've actually settled on or have pending on in this world? And then if you notice, let's come back a little bit so we can see the branches. Our Gainesville office, 20% conversion rate. Our Culpeper office, 20% conversion rate. Our Fredericksburg office, 21% conversion rate. Dunkirk, 18% conversion rate. Lexington Park, 16% conversion rate. Now, what's interesting to me, and I'm sure you guys are thinking the same thing, we all know that we don't have our necessarily, number one agents assigned to this business. So with our, I don't like to say B team, but our less experienced or newer agents or agents that just are, not qualified for the A team yet, we're producing a up to 21%. So I use 22% as hey, we ought to be doing 22%. And again, those are the referrals that we've scrubbed, said, hey, this is a qualified opportunity, and assigned it to the branch, not the overall book of business. So of those 50 that we're doing a month, we think that 22% can get done. So we calculated the lost opportunities by that, saying, hey, what if we had done 22%? It would have been another, in Alexandria, it would have been another 5 transactions at $456,000. That's another $2 million. But look at what happens on company dollar because of lead router, and this is where we might want to start thinking differently. There's another $33,000 to the branch for doing those 5 transactions. Why? Because with the way that lead router works, there is a 10% of the fee that gets taken out of the top, that 47.5%, 10% goes straight to the branch, up and on top of the referral. Then you take your 30% out in it as well. So you've got a much more profitable transaction here. It's more profitable for BizDev. So there's those 5 transactions are $57,000 in company dollar. So enormous opportunities here in our lead router world because, as we all know, I've been mentioning at Ops, we're about to really increase, hopefully through a contract that we've signed, the number of quality leads that we can send to you. So, think when you're looking at those numbers, really think that not too long in the future, we ought to be doubling and tripling what we're sending to you. So, there's opportunities, branches, you take $57,000 and triple it. That's a nice chunk of change to add to the branch, and there's not a whole lot of management that goes on in trying to manage another 15 transactions. We all know there's a ton, but if we match it to what we're doing in our world of relocation, then it should be easier. All the reports, everything are going to be the same. So that's all information that's here for you. Let's just look at one more thing, and then I'll let you go. Oh, actually, 2 more things. There are tabs here, and they will show you a lot of different pieces, but here is all of your incoming business, right? We did that. I showed that to you. I'm sorry. There's all of your incoming business, and so if you wanted to look, I'm not sure if I did show it to you. If you wanted to look, this is now sorted as all incoming. It's sorted by the area that we thought people were looking. So here's Arlington. So you can see, okay, here's Arlington and how we're doing in Arlington. And we've got a fair amount of deads and disqualified. And then here are the agents that have transacted there. So Chuck Bryant did one transaction. He's got a bunch that are open and some dead. So he's kind of an interesting guy to look at and say, okay, probably good for Arlington, but we need to look and see. So I don't know if we've ever looked at this information this way before, but we can start to see where are agents really doing well for us. Julie Willis, she looks like somebody that we would want to assign more of our Arlington business to. So you can really kind of scroll down and start getting an idea. Obviously, you can see that this information comes in from Cardis. It's not always perfect, but it will tell you a nice little story, and it's something that you can analyze as you're going through your coaching. Then every pending buyer, if you want to look at it that way, every pending list, every settled buyer is here, every settled list, all the affinity business is here if you want to look at just affinity. So you have different ways that for you at the branch level, if you want to do some analytics, all the information is there, and you can do some sorting in your information and start getting an idea of how you're doing, where you want to make some improvements, and those types of things at sort of a bigger level. And then as you're doing the agent summaries, those things are going to be done on the individual sheets for them. So that's the coaching reports. I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but I'm really excited about it. I think it's one of the best things that we've delivered. Hope you do too. The other thing that I just want to show to you really quickly is, if I can find it, you'll also get your surveys. In fact, I think most of you have gotten them already. I just want to show you what's on these surveys in case we haven't really gone over that in the past. So here's an example. Why did I want to show this one? So Mickey Lyons, right? Here's return for Mickey Lyons. So this is actually, if you notice, a non-taker, right? This little thing right here says non-taker. When you look at the final sale date, if there was a final sale, it's going to have a date there. If they didn't actually do business with us, it's going to say non-taker. The receive date is the date that the survey was returned to Cardis. So that's the date that this survey came back to Cardis. Here's the date that it was placed with us, November of 2012. And if they made any comments, here they are. So this person said, there's nothing really that Mickey needs to do. Our house sold before it went to market through word of mouth. So obviously they decided to sell their house as a for sale by owner, and they don't blame Mickey for anything. The non-takers do not show up in our conversion number, in our total number for platinum. However, there are ratings given to them. This person gave us a 7 because we probably just didn't develop a lot of rapport with them and tell them. You can see from the comments we didn't have a chance to develop a lot of rapport. Let's look at one more. I just want to show you. So if we've got multiple returns, so we have multiple returns here for Kelly Norman. Kelly Norman's doing great. You can see the summary of how she's doing. So when the questions are asked to rate the overall experience, 2 people, 100% of the time they say she's great. Their satisfaction, the agent, 100%, she's great. She's responsive, 100%. Yep, she's great. Kept me informed of the progress. Yep, she's great. Knowledgeable of the market. Yep, she's great. So these are the questions that are being asked. Here's the number of times that people are saying that Kelly is 10 out of 10. She's kicking butt. Here are the actual people that said it. And again, the final sale date for this person was 5/9/2013. This one was 3/17/2013. And what did I like about their experience? They're satisfied with their agent's progress. There's not a whole lot of comments here, but it gives you a sense. You can see this was a listing and this was a buyer. So I know that we've given you these reports before. We've sent you all of everything that we have for the year. We're going to do that again. If we get the June ones in quickly, we'll send you the Junes and we'll send you everything. After that, we would only send you a survey if there was a new survey on here. So when you get your surveys from us, if it comes out and only these 2 people are on Kelly's sheet, then we won't send you Kelly's. But if there's a new June return, we're going to send you all of June's. But if there was a if we weren't going to do that, we would look and say, hey, if there's a June return and it's a new survey, let's send that to the branch leaders so they can congratulate the agent, or they can actually do some coaching if that's what's needed. So that's the quick review. Those are the two reports that you're going to be getting from us. Everything that we have is going to be there. You saw in terms of service, the total, if there's a recording that we have in RealoSpec over the course of a year, that's all there. This will be just your USAA, and this will be just the returns that we've had for this year. So hopefully that all makes sense. Appreciate it, and hope everybody has great coachings. Let's really use this opportunity and analyze our branches and where we want to improve, and then present that plan, what our plan is for our branch and our company to improve, and how we see their performance so far, and the coaching that we need and the accountability that we need to continue assigning referrals and work together to get to those improvements. Thanks a lot, guys.